I want a dice roll again. And his hand is filled with bushwhackers as ever, unfortunately. It's definitely a real question as to whether I'm supposed to play one of these bushwhackers on turn 1 or not. Since I might not have, and I might be just missing out on 2 or 3 damage if I don't. Especially if I'm playing this on turn 2. And then maybe paying Echo. I'm going to. I don't like it, but we're certainly not winning very many games by refusing to play creatures. Kaplusan Forest. Ancient Stirrings. This looks like a Tron deck to me. These Tron decks have been cutting down on Pyroclasms since I was playing these decks fairly regularly, which is always going to be good. The fewer Pyroclasms, the better. The next question is to whether we're paying Echo on the Small Marshal or not. I'm sort of inclined to, since it does play around Pyroclasm the best, and they can't play like a Warm Coil or something next turn anyway. But yeah, this is definitely a sort of interesting one. And by interesting, I mean probably gonna win or lose the game, whether I choose to do it or choose not to do it, and then should have went the other way. I'm not going to. I think I probably have enough going on that I don't actively need to. Yes. Obviously, it might seem relatively obvious sometimes that, well, of course, you just get the damage in. But depending on what we drew, you don't want to be... Right. I mean, this is fine because we drew the extra land. So now we get to bushwhack and then finish them off. But if we didn't have the additional land, then we sort of could be struggling to get enough creatures in play and attack one more time in order to grenade them. Grenade! These. Alright then. So here we get to sideboard in some Smash to Smithereens. Yes. We get to board in this Unwilling Recruit. So we can mise someone who is making a Worm Coil Engine, or even something like a Platinum Angel. Blood Moon, we are on the draw. That's not that great, but Chieftain is very bad against Pyroclasm. Unless you have multiples, obviously. Let's see what else is bad. Mog Fanatics pretty on the bad side, but they do fulfill a purpose against Worm Coil Engine, i.e. you block and then you don't gain 6 one time. I think maybe these Lightning Bolts are probably some of the weaker cards also. since this time they really don't have any creatures for me to kill, and it's literally just Lava Spike. The question is whether Lava Spike is better than, say, some random Goblin, but probably not, since we're a Goblin deck and we need a certain amount of creatures in play at all times. Pile Driver's somewhat tempting, since it sort of forces a Pyroclasm. But it's not super. I'll put it that way. I'm going to, since I've reduced my deck's amount to 3 mana guys, I can be ready to do some sort of Pile Driver, Bushwhacker turn to try and mize them. I mean, we already have plenty of ways to try and mize them. We have grenades, 1 Blood Moon and 1 Willing Recruit. But more ways to mize is great, and I instantly regret my decision, since clearly one of these is the thing that used to be a 1-drop. Not having a 1-drop is pretty criminal. On the other hand, we might draw one. 3 lands gets us sort of on our way to being able to use as Bushwhacker. And we do still have a 2-drop. No, oh dear. As I say, not having a 1-drop is very bad. I didn't even have any of my sweet sideboard cards. It was also just a very slow hand where, you know, on turn 3 I'm attacking for 1, or maybe having a couple of 2/2s in play, and that's just not good. The downside of playing red against a deck like Tron is that they just don't take damage from their lands, whereas every other deck in the format will usually take between 3 to 5 every game. With that's a weird visual thing going on over there, I don't quite understand. It would be quite good if at some point Magic Online remembered things like how large you want everything, and whether you want your graveyards to be popped out or not, whether you want a chat window. All these things reset every game, and definitely every time you log in, just in case. I'm certainly not beating Pyroclasm in this game, so I guess I'll get ready. Knowing when you can and can't beat certain cards is definitely pretty important for decks like this. Obviously, at a certain amount of time you'll just get crushed by something like that there, but you've got you can't play too scared. For example, in other games where I didn't mull to 5, I'd maybe have more like different options where I can play like a War Marshal or like a Krenko's Command and protect my Pile Driver. But I just don't have the resources, like I don't have enough lands to see to kick, play Pile Driver and kick out a Bushwhacker. We live in is a high life total, but we have 1 Goblin Grenade. We only need 1 more. It's interesting. Smash and Smithereens is definitely a lot better on the play, since you can nail their expedition maps that they play in turn 1. I hope this is not Karn. I hope it's a Platinum Angel. More likely it's a Wormcoil Engine, but I hope it's a Platinum Angel. That would be way more sweet to destroy. It's an Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Well, that card is insane. It's not technically over yet. You know, you can play an artifact that I'm able to blow up. And then I can draw a haste guy, smack them, grenade them. They do need to play an artifact though. I haven't seen this one before. Sanctum of Ugin. Well, can't play Eye anymore, right? Well, there's an artifact. That's a good start. It's entirely possible they might have Nature's Claim though. That should just end the game on the spot, I think. Do I want to nail Ugin? No, I do not. Certainly not win a game when I deal 3 damage to an Ugin. Well, upstairs. Since it's not going to get to attack anyway. So yes, I could have dealt 8 damage to Ugin the Spirit Dragon, but my opponent would then be on 9 and I would have no cards in hand or in play. Come on, top deck. Unwilling Recruit would be almost good, since if they play a Nulamog and exile 2 lands we can't cast it, but we would at least then have some outs. Oh my god, is it happening? Is it happening? No, it's not happening. What was that? A lightning bolt? Good grief. Why would they have that in their deck? Oh well. I'm ready. Ready to go. Hands like this are much worse against Pyroclasm, obviously, than they would be against Anger of the Gods, since you get multiple full turns of attacking before they get to play Anger of the Gods. A Thragtusk. Card spray on people. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Another tower. Okay, that's not a huge deal since they already have that. Okay, we have the best anti-Pyroclasm 1-2 that we can do. Wall of Roots. Wow, this deck's definitely different from when I last checked. Not that it's necessarily bad, but times have changed and it's definitely bad for me. Thought Not Seer. Acceptable. Given that there's a Thought Not Seer on the way down next turn, it's probably not the time to be pussyfooting around and paying for Echo. Okay, Pharmacy Sheet Jensen. Oh, I drew them another land. This is the most traitorous of Goblin guides. So yeah, they get to... So if they thought not see us, then they take our grenade, but we still have a reasonable amount of overlap. We get to hit them for 3. Oh, gosh. Take this, they block it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's almost dead. I'm so close to killing them. But actually not doing so. And then they can gain 5 up to 6 again. But then I've opened myself up to drawing grenade. Although, wait, so if they block this, then their Wall of Roots dies, so I guess they can't just snap off the Thragtusk. Gives them an Ours is Mine. Full Ancestral Recall. That's more like Seek the Horizon, really, isn't it? Because they didn't actually draw real cards. Opponent coming to the realization that they have to lose their Wall of Roots. Go to 1, and I have Mog Fanatic in my hand. See, obviously could have a life gain card that isn't Thragtusk in their hand. They could have another Thought-Knot Seer, but they don't, and they're dead. Goblins triumph once again.